There's a number I'm going to show you in about 15 minutes. It's a single figure that represents money you will almost certainly spend in your lifetime without ever deciding to. You won't see it leave. You won't remember agreeing to it. And by the time it's gone, it will have quietly become one of the largest financial decisions you never made. But before I show you that number, I want to tell you about a man in a blue hoodie. Because his morning is your morning. You just haven't noticed yet. On a crisp morning, a man in a blue hoodie steps into a neighborhood cafe. The barista greets him by name and already has his usual latte brewing. Without thinking, he taps his phone to a glowing digital reader, paying with his saved card in an instant. The aroma of coffee fills his senses. He smiles, and he leaves, steaming cup in hand, not once glancing at the $6 price tag. Later, at home, the doorbell rings. It's another shiny new gadget he ordered online yesterday, arriving before he even remembered pressing buy. Elated, he pays by clicking a link on his phone, and then it's dinner, and he opens his bank app. Dozens of small charges. A coffee here. A couple of app downloads there. A subscription quietly renewing. Individually, none of it seemed like much. He frowns and thinks the exact sentence that almost every one of us has thought. How could I spend so much without noticing? And then he answers his own question without realizing how important the answer is. He says, "It felt so easy at the time." That right there, "it felt so easy," is the entire trap. Hold on to that sentence, because by the end of this video, you're going to understand that easy was never an accident. It was engineered, designed, tested across millions of people to find the exact moment your resistance breaks. And the man in the blue hoodie? He was caught in a subtle trap where each seamless transaction, each quick click, never once felt like spending, until the moment it was already gone. So let me explain what's actually happening inside your brain when you tap that phone, because this is where it stops being about willpower and starts being about biology. Humans instinctively hesitate at paying. There is a real, biological pain when you hand over cash, and it's linked to the same part of the brain that feels physical pain. When you pull out a 20 and watch it leave your hand, a small flash of activity fires in a region called the insula, the same region that responds to being physically hurt. That flash isn't there to punish you. It's there to make you pause, to make you ask quietly, is this worth it? For most of human history, that pause was your protection. It was a checkpoint standing between an impulse and a purchase. And here's the thing you have to understand. The entire convenience economy was built to bypass that checkpoint completely. Every layer of abstraction, the saved card, the digital wallet, the one-click purchase, the subscription that renews in silence, strips that friction away. As one neuroscientist puts it, mobile payments and one-click orders reduce the pain of paying to near zero, effectively taking the brain's brakes off. In lab tests, people's brains showed far less activation in that pain region when paying with a card versus cash, which means, in the most literal sense, spending with a card feels less real. But it gets worse, because it's not just that they release the brakes. As a finance professor put it, credit cards don't just release the brakes, they step on the gas in the brain's reward circuitry. fMRI studies show that swiping a card actually triggers more excitement, more dopamine, than paying cash. Sit with that. The exact moment you should feel a little pain, you instead feel a little pleasure. They didn't just remove the warning light. They wired the warning light to feel good. Researchers have a name for these modern digital modes. They call them silent wallet payments because they offer zero transparency about money leaving. And the generation that grew up tapping phones often doesn't track spending at all because the notifications just blend into the background noise of the day. Now here's the proof that friction is the whole game. One survey found that 50% of users shop more frequently when payments are seamless. And on the flip side, half of shoppers admitted that just one extra confusing click could make them abandon their cart entirely. One click. That's the entire distance between I bought it and I walked away. Remember that, because the biggest company on earth built its empire on exactly that gap, and I'll show you how in a moment. But first, the number. Let's go back to that $6 coffee, because it's the perfect example of how something harmless becomes staggering. $6 a day is $2,190 a year. Invested at a modest 6% return, that daily pick-me-up becomes almost $30,000 over 10 years. And if you're a 2 coffees a day person spending $15, that number leaps past $65,000. Now, layer on the subscriptions. An $8 a month streaming service is $96 a year. Small, forgettable. But over 20 years at 5%, that's over $28,000 in lost opportunity. And that's just one subscription. The average American subscriptions run around $273 a month, over $3,000 a year, which compounds to nearly $50,000 over a decade at 8% returns. Here's the way I want you to picture it. Imagine a tree with 260 leaves, one leaf for every day, and on each leaf, a single $6 charge. One by one, every leaf looks harmless, but the whole forest, over time, is staggering. Economists call this the opportunity cost of convenience, and the danger was never in any single transaction. It was always in the pattern. Because here's how the pattern hides from you. Human psychology is remarkably good at resisting large, obvious threats, and remarkably bad at resisting a continuous stream of small ones. Behavioral economists have shown that we evaluate a cost relative to its immediate size, not its cumulative impact. So a $5 impulse buy and a $500 impulse buy are processed by two completely different mental systems, even though enough $5 purchases will eventually equal and then exceed the 500. And I promised you a number at the start of this video. Here it is. If you isolate just the convenience premium, the extra you pay purely to avoid friction, for a moderately convenience-oriented urban professional, it lands around $220 a month. Invested in a broad market fund at a 7% real return, that becomes just under $27,000 over a decade. Roughly $171,000 over 25 years, and over a full 40-year working life. $538,000. In today's purchasing power, completely invisible, completely absent from any budget conversation you will ever have. That is the number. That is the cost of it felt so easy at the time. And your future self doesn't just lose the money. Your future self loses every dollar that money could have become. Now here's the part that should genuinely change how you see your phone. None of this is your fault. And I mean that structurally, not as comfort. You are not weak. You are not undisciplined. What has happened is that the environment around spending has become dramatically more optimized, tested repeatedly across millions of users to find the exact point where resistance breaks down. And almost no individual is equipped to consciously outthink an environment engineered by entire teams of behavioral specialists working against exactly that resistance. Remember that one-click button? When one-click purchasing was introduced, conversion rates increased substantially, not because people suddenly wanted more things, but because the pause was gone. That small cognitive gap, where reason might have intervened, was engineered out of existence. And that wasn't a side effect. That was the goal. Your brain runs on two systems: a slow, deliberate one that weighs costs and consequences, and a fast, automatic one that responds to impulse and immediate reward. Kahneman and Tversky spent decades documenting how the fast system dominates the slow one in everyday decisions. And modern convenience design is built explicitly to engage the fast system and bypass the slow one. The one-click button, the pre-filled form, the auto-renewing subscription, these are not neutral tools. They are interventions in your cognitive process. And they exploit specific, mapped-out weaknesses with the same rigor an engineer uses to design a bridge. There's the default effect. You stick with the pre-selected option, even when better ones exist. There's present bias. Immediate ease outweighs future consequences. There's payment decoupling. Separating the purchase from the payment by days or weeks weakens the link between spending and cost. There's the peak end rule. A delivery that arrives warm and on time registers as a positive memory, even if the bill was 30% higher than cooking at home. And there's subscription inertia. The mere existence of an auto-renewal increases retention by 40 to 60% because the cognitive cost of canceling feels bigger than the financial cost of continuing. That last one is loss aversion operating inside a business model. It's why onboarding is frictionless and discounted, while cancellation is buried, multi-step, and sometimes deliberately confusing. It's why cancellation screens say, "Are you sure you want to lose your benefits?" instead of the honest version, "Would you like to stop paying?" That asymmetry isn't incidental. It is the business model. And the same logic is baked into the physical world. Walk into a grocery store. The produce is by the entrance to signal health and freshness. The milk and eggs are at the very back, so you're exposed to maximum high-margin product on the way. And the checkout is stocked with cheap impulse items, placed there precisely because by the end of your trip, dozens of small decisions have drained your capacity for deliberate choice. Researchers call it decision fatigue, and depleted decision-making is more impulsive decision-making. Zoom out, and it's not a conspiracy. It's an alignment of incentives that produces a result indistinguishable from one. Companies in this sector are valued on monthly active users, average revenue per user, lifetime value. The fastest way to grow those numbers is to shrink the time between impulse and transaction, because every extra second of deliberation is a risk that you'll reconsider. We've actually lived a version of this before. In the early 20th century, installment credit, buy now, pay later, was sold as a democratizing innovation. And in the short term, it felt that way. But it structurally changed how an entire society related to spending and debt, feeding the credit expansion and fragility that led into the 1929 crash. The behavioral change outlasted the conditions that seemed to justify it. The convenience economy is a different mechanism telling a structurally identical story. A system that makes spending easier is, by definition, a system that makes accumulation harder. And the full cost of that asymmetry only ever shows up in hindsight. So here's where I have to be honest with you, because the point of this was never to make you feel guilty. Guilt is just another form of friction, and the system is perfectly happy to monetize that too. Convenience is not your enemy. It is one of the most valuable innovations of modern life. It genuinely saves time, and time genuinely has value. The enemy was never convenience. The enemy is the absence of awareness, the slow, unexamined drift toward a state where your money leaves through dozens of small, invisible exits, until one day you can't account for where any of it went. And the shift that changes everything is not dramatic. You don't have to reject modern life or swear off delivery forever. You just have to deliberately reintroduce a small amount of friction, just enough to break the automatic loop, without making your life miserable. You have to make yourself feel the pain of paying again, on purpose, because that pain was never a flaw. It was a diagnostic tool. So here's what that actually looks like. Delete your saved payment methods. Force yourself to re-enter the card for each purchase. It's a 30-second act that reactivates the pain of paying and dramatically cuts impulse buys. Run a subscription audit every quarter. Go through every recurring charge and ask one question: would I sign up for this today, at this price? This is consistently one of the highest return per hour activities in personal finance. The time cost is 30 minutes to 2 hours. The average finding is between $100 and $300 a month in charges that are no longer being used but were never canceled. That's not a personal failure. That's the system working exactly as designed. Impose a cooling period. For any non-essential purchase over a certain amount, make yourself wait 24 to 72 hours. Research shows this significantly reduces non-essential spending, not because you become more frugal, but because the fast system's urgency dissipates and the slow, considered version of you finally gets invited back into the decision. The convenience economy's single greatest enemy is time, which is exactly why it works so hard to remove it from every transaction. Give yourself the time back, and you take the gas pedal off the brain. Let's go back to him one last time. Next month, when his coffee app subscription renewed, he realized he hadn't used it all year. So he canceled it. He started paying cash for his morning coffee once a week, relishing the tangible exchange, feeling the small, honest weight of the money leaving his hand. And over time, he found something surprising. He didn't actually lose much convenience that way, but his wallet and his savings did start to feel a little fuller. He didn't get rich overnight. There's no magic trick here, just an understanding. The systems built around convenience are not going away. They will keep getting faster, smoother, more emotionally seamless, because that's what makes them work. But the people who understand what convenience actually is, a designed force with a commercial intention behind it, those people interact with it completely differently. Not by rejecting it, but by choosing, deliberately and occasionally, to put the friction back. Because every dollar you spend without thinking is a dollar you've quietly chosen not to transform into something larger. And that choice, repeated thousands of times in thousands of small, frictionless moments, is the quietest wealth builder or wealth destroyer you will ever know. So the next time something feels effortless, the next time a payment just slides through without a second thought, pause. Just for a second. Ask the one question they engineered out of the moment. Is this worth it? Because that single second of friction, repeated over a lifetime, might just be the most valuable thing you ever buy.